Hi, welcome to the Pearls and Polish Podcast, episode 49. I'm your host, Rachel, coming to you from just outside Sacramento, California. Joined, of course, with the chaotic co-host, Sabine, who is laying on the floor right here next to me, taking a nap. She had a bath and a haircut this morning, and so she is very worked up. So I think she's just trying to decompress. But Sabine is my almost 6-month-old Schnauzer Poodle puppy. So she spends a lot of time in here with me when I do episodes, but she is sleeping. Of course, we're in my kids' room, which is the quietest room in the house. It also is the hottest room in the house. So we've got the fan going. We don't have any lights on, just so we don't get more heat. So if it's a little on the dark side, I apologize, but this is what we have to do to get an episode out. So episode 49. Before we get started, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. Links to those are in the description below, along with all of the makers, dyers, designers, and anyone else I mentioned in today's episode. Links to them are in the description below as well. Since it is summer and I am a full-time mom and a part-time employee outside of the home, it can be a little difficult to get episodes out on a regular basis. School year's a lot easier because we have lots and lots of structure with school. So make sure you like and subscribe so you get a notification every time we put out a new episode. Since it's been 2-3 weeks since our last episode. But let's start with finished objects. I have 2. I don't think I ever showed these as works in progress. That's how long we've had no episodes for. So the first one is my newspaper print socks. I think I showed you guys the yarn for this earlier, but this is dyed up by Zebra Yarns, and I don't think they're dyeing right now. The dyer's name is Anna. So sweet. She gifted this to me during the Fiber Friends sock swap, and I made socks. So this is self-striping yarn, so it is made to stripe like that, and I decided I wanted to make twin and not sisters self-striping socks. A lot of times I kind of decide, do I want sisters or twins? And by sisters, I mean I start them wherever the next color is in the yarn. Twins means I start them in the exact same spot, so I get them as even as possible. And they turned out pretty even. I'm really happy with how they turned out. She was so sweet enough to send 2 mini skeins for heels, toes, and cuffs. Unfortunately, the colors bled a little bit. I don't know how well you can see that. Maybe in the heel. But I don't mind. They're going to be in my shoes and under my pants, so you're not going to be able to see it. That's just kind of the nature of hand-dyed yarn, and that's one of the things I really love about it, is this is what happens when you make things yourself. So really love how these turned out. I did 20 rounds for the cuff, 60 rounds for the leg. My foot is usually 70 to 75 rounds from where I pick up stitches for the heel all the way down to the toe, and then rounded toe as always. So these worked up really fast. I really like self-striping yarn in that it is easy to motivate myself to knit a lot, because I'm gonna knit 4 stripes today, and 4 stripes end up being 20 rounds. So that is one of the many things I really enjoy about self-striping yarn. So thank you, Anna. These turned out beautiful. I can't wait to wear them. Those are my first finished object. Second one I got stuff on my face. Second one are my lemonade stand socks. This is dyed up by Pasley Knits. She did seasons boxes last year, so this is part of the seasons box. I've got one more color for that collection, and then I'm ready to start autumn. But these are, I think, even brighter than what the camera's pulling up. These are super bright, and I love this color for socks. For wearing around my face, I don't think that would be a great choice. I feel like it would wash me out a bit. but love this for socks. So the pattern is the Basic B Shorty by Summer Lee, and I've been using that pattern for all of my Shorty socks this summer. So I have done it enough times where I have like little shorthand notes in my phone, and I just check that and then knit my socks. So those are my work in progress. No, those are my finished objects. My works in progress are my Bougainvillea socks. This is also from that summer collection. First sock is done. Just need to sew in my ends. Second sock is on its way. I have 75 rounds from when I pick up stitches for the heel and all the way to where I start my toe. I am currently at 50 stitches done, and I use these little pins to count every 10 rounds. I don't like counting higher than 10 when it comes to my knitting. So if I can use a shortcut, I definitely will. And so I put pins in so then I can just count how many pins do I have, and then that's, times 10, and that's how I have. So I have 25 rounds left, which should be done fairly quickly, and then my toe. So the goal is to have these socks done by Sunday. It's the last day of June. And then I have my Pool Club, which is the last color. It's blue, and then I'll be done with summer. So I went through my knitting planner, which is this one. This is the Common Planner by Sterling Ink. I think I've shown this to you guys before, but I have all of my knitting notes in here. And so I write down projects that I'm working on, how much I did for that day. If I'm setting goals for certain projects, I write those in there. Any notes, all that stuff goes in here. My works in progress, obviously, when I finish things, all of my stash is in here. So this is something I started this year, and I have really enjoyed it. So I'm definitely going to start it again next year. I haven't decided which planner I'm going to use. I'm thinking about trying the Hobonichi cousin. If you are in that planner community, then if you use a Hobonichi cousin and you also knit, please give me any advice in the comments. I would love to hear your experiences with that. If not, but you want to talk planner stuff, let me know. I love planner stuff. But anyways, all that to say, I went through and I marked summer sock camp in my planner, and then I numbered how many days are in camp. So camp has 100 days exactly. So to kind of keep myself on track, since I wanted to do all 4 season boxes from Pasley Knits in the duration of summer sock camp, I needed to do a season box every 25 days. Spring and summer, I only had 3 colorways since I had done one of each last year. Fall and winter both have 4 colorways that I have to do. So it is currently hold on, I just closed it. Day 37. So I have plenty of time to hit that day 50. So I am ahead of schedule. On top of all that, I'm also doing 4 pairs of full-length socks. So also kind of using that 25-day block to kind of keep everything in check and make sure that I am meeting those goals that I set for myself. So I already have 1 of the 4 full-length socks done. The next one, which is also a work in progress, are my button-down flannel socks. So I have the second sock started, and these have become my Taekwondo project. My kids do Taekwondo, and so while they're in class, I sit and knit because that's better than being on my phone. So their class isn't super long, so it's not like I have swaths and swaths of time sitting. So I don't get a ton done at any chunk of time. Everyone is testing for their new belt in a couple weeks, and then one of my kids will be moving up into the next level class. So then we'll be spending more time in the studio because we'll have different class times, which will be great for me because I'll have more knitting to get done. But I've just kind of accepted that these are just going to take a while, and I'm going to be okay with that. But they're getting worked on. And then my last work in progress is my Frankie V Sweater. This is a test knit for, before I get her name wrong, well done. Where is it? I wrote, this is why I keep notes, because if not, I forget things. And then I feel really bad when I get things wrong. Oh, it's by Kelly Fowler. Kelly Fowler is doing the Frankie V Sweater. I'm one of the test knitters. I love how this is coming out. The body is mostly done. I just have that bottom hem, and I only have like 10 more rounds, and then I'm done. And then we just have sleeves. So originally I was gonna like spend a good chunk of time on this and not as much time on my socks. However, I did want to finish the Bougainvillea socks by the end of June. So those are going to take a front seat. This is going to take a slightly back seat. And then once those are done, I can jam on this and get it done in July. So July was going to be a little more sweater structured and probably a little less sock structured, but we'll see how we do. So those are the works in progress. Okay, so future plans, new cast on starting July 1st. Che and Gabs of Slip Slip Sis. They're on Instagram, they're on Ravelry, they're on YouTube. I mention them quite a bit here because they're just really fun. Sisters also in California, but they're hosting a make-along. So the emotional support chicken pattern has been pretty big in the knitting world, also the crochet world. So they are going to each make one, and I think their dad is also making one. So they're doing a make-along. So I have been wanting to do this pattern for a while and just haven't like gotten around to it. So when they announced they were going to do it, like, perfect, this is the perfect time to do it. I was trying to think, like, how do I want to make it? Do I want to use stash up and use like 2 DK weight held double? Do I want to just use all the scraps and just hold like 4 fingering weight yarns together? And then I remembered I have some worsted weight yarn that is like deep stash. This is Fiesta, and this is made by Hickory Lane. And this was her birthday colorway from like 4 years ago. I think she brings it back every year. But I had done a sample for her, and then I had bought a sweater quantity of this colorway, and I love it. Like, it is so fun, but it is so busy. I started knitting a sweater out of this yarn, and I love the yarn in skein. I love the yarn in cakes. I love the yarn made into socks. I did not love it in a sweater, and I'll tell you why. It was super busy. There was just color all over the place, and some people really like that. Some people love that for color work. I think this would be great for color work. For me, I prefer low contrast variegated yarns or tonals for like sweaters. That's just personal preference. And so I got to the point when I was making the sweater of I could continue making this and I'll never wear it because it just doesn't like speak to me, you know. Or I can just stop and just let it go. So I started this sweater a couple years ago and I stopped. So this has been sitting in my closet for a couple years. This is my French Supply bag. I think I got this bag right before French Supply closed. They are no longer a business, but you can, I'm pretty sure you can still buy the pattern to make your own bags. But this is like the large sweater bag. So this sweater and this yarn have been sitting in my closet for a good 3 or 4 years. So that was like the aha moment because I forgot I had this. So that was the moment of like, I have yarn that is worsted weight and I have a lot of it that I can make a chicken out of. So I made the mistake of watching the intro video to Poultry Poluzza in front of my kids, which my kids are wonderful, but they saw stuffed chicken and my youngest goes, Mom, I want a chicken. Will you make me a chicken? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll make you a chicken. And then, of course, my oldest heard, because she was playing video games as we're sitting there together. And she looked over and she goes, Mom, I want a chicken too. Will you also make me a chicken? So I'm also making her a chicken, which is fine. I'm happily making them chickens. But I also want a chicken. So now I'm making 3 chickens in 2 months. But that's okay because I have 5 skeins of this Fiesta yarn. So it's going to work out great. Yeah. Poultry Poluzza is July 1st through August 31st. There are opportunities for prizes on their Instagram, on their Ravelry. If you use anything that's like poultry themed, then you get like an extra point. So super excited about that. So I'm going to be working on chickens. I don't know when, but I'll be working on them. I'm super excited. Moving into reading and watching. What I've been reading lately was the Magicians series by Lev Grossman. And that whole series, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with the books. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I've really enjoyed the show. I've watched it multiple times. But I just got to a point where the books, where I just wasn't like excited to read them. And I was choosing other things instead of reading my book. And that's not great, right? So I made a decision to stop reading, even though I had about like halfway through left of the last book, and I just didn't care anymore. So yeah, my husband and I did start together The Screaming Staircase by Jonathan Stroud. It's the first book of the Lockwood & Co. series. They did turn it into a show on Netflix. I think it only got like 1 season and they canceled it, which was very upsetting. But it's a series I've read a couple times before. It's one that I enjoy a lot. But the premise is that in England, ghosts come out at night and then they like kill people because that's what ghosts do. And at least these ones. And the only people who can see them are children. It's like before they hit adulthood, they can see them, they can hear them, they can get rid of them. And so you now have this society where children are working at night to keep the adults safe. And some of them are trying to figure out like, how is this happening? Why is this happening? Where did it start? How do we stop this? So it's a great series. I really enjoy it. It's pretty clean. That was the Alexa. I don't know what we got, but we got something. And so, yeah, it would be a good like teen, young adult book. Not necessarily something I would listen to in front of my kids since they're younger school age. It's not super scary, but I don't think they would quite enjoy it or understand all of it. So there's that. And then what I'm watching, I'm still watching Royal Pains. I'm on season, not episode. I just started season 6 this morning. I think there's like 2 more seasons left, but it's a comfort watch. It's been great. But yeah. And then the life stuff. Like I told you guys, we haven't had an episode in a couple weeks. Life has just gotten super busy all of a sudden. So we ended school. I immediately left to go to a conference on the East Coast. So if you're not from the United States, the country is very large. It takes all day to fly from one side of the country to the other. So total time in the air, I think, was like 7 to 8 hours in an airplane. And then I had a 3-hour layover, like halfway through that. So like actual travel time was 9 to 10 hours, which is exhausting. And then you have like time changes. The United States has 4 different time zones. So I was losing time. Like I left California at 5:30 in the morning and I got to the East Coast at like 5 in the evening, but it wasn't 12 total hours. Anyways, a lot of time traveling, which is why I was able to get these done so fast and get a good jump on these, because I was stuck in a plane. And then I was at a conference all day, like a day and a half, and then I had to reverse it. I had to fly all the way back home. So it was just a lot of time knitting, but it was just a lot of work, not a ton of sleep, but it was a really good trip. When I got home, I had a big event at work that I was in charge of, so like lots of planning, so lots of long hours, not a lot of sleep, not a lot of knitting. The event went great. I also got sick that week, so I was fighting a cold while I was also trying to plan this event and be happy and peppy and whatnot. Immediately after the event ended, like the following day, my husband and I went about 3 hours north to Mendocino, which is on the coast, for our anniversary, and got to spend a couple days away. Just the two of us. The kids and the dog stayed home, which was great. We try and do that every year for our anniversary, just to kind of restart our year, since our year is around the school year. Set new goals, talk about how things have been going, and then just have some quality time together. So really great to do that and be able to just rest and just, eat really good food and spend time together, while also fighting a cold, which was not as fun. But that's where we're at. So things have finally slowed down. We are done with all like the super busy stuff we had planned for the summer. So we're now finally getting kind of set into our summer routine, which has been really nice because I love routine. My kids thrive on routine. So all the like big stuff is done. So we have kind of chill summer for the rest of our vacation, hopefully. And then we'll start school up again. So make sure you like and subscribe so that you get a notification when the next episode comes out. The next episode is episode 50, so there will be a giveaway to celebrate that. We're also pretty close to 700 subscribers, so if we hit that before the next episode, then we will have a giveaway for that as well. So potentially 2 giveaways for our next episode. If not, we'll definitely do one. But that is what I've got for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. I enjoyed spending some time with you. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself, getting some rest, and I will see you guys next time.